again. Let's try it again. Take two. Taking two.
Yellow and Black is back. Lumber Liquidators cuts out the middleman to deliver absolute low prices. Get absolute low prices.
We got sound now. Hey, take two. Take two. Let's try it. Breaker, breaker, breaker. 1-9er. We got sound. Yeah, it only took the second time. That's my newest song. Give us the lope. Give us the lope. Motorcycle reggae. Oh, I was ripping the guitars. Oh, WSW's wife thought I was going to give up and go to bed. Give us the lope. Broop, 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 broop. Give us the lope. Give us the lope. What cam do you ride? Oh, ride. What cam do you ride? I don't even know my own lyrics. I recorded that one today. It was rainy here today. Yeah. My bike doesn't have the lope. My motor's stock. I'm leaving that thing stock. Oh, listen to that. That's when you put a cam in it. That's what it sounds like. It's all potato, potato. What's up, Geno Smith? Take one. I had no sound, dude. I had to do a do-over. Got the good memories gear on today. Yeah. Yep. Niner beanie is intact. It'll be Dave K and Shine's turn to do the Kansas City Chiefs shuffle next week. Dude, they got the Niners twice. I wonder if they'll get the Eagles twice. Oh man, it's not a great feeling when you get whooped up by Pat Mahomes. Yeah, Saturday night live stream. Oh yeah, brother. Oh yeah. I missed it last night because I was out working on a true reaching that had a dead compressor. So I didn't get to do the Friday night live. So I figured we'd jump on here today and see what we got going. And see how everybody did this week. What everybody's up to. I got into a bunch of... I got like 6 motors to change out at the day job we found on this one shutdown. All of them bad bearings. A couple of them Baldor motors, only like 2 years old. It's a shame. 2-year-old Baldor motors on Very drives. The bearings are already gone. That never used to happen. Fred Crook Heating and Air is in the house. Oh, yeah. You swapped the compressor out on the True. No, it was 23 years old, so the customer is going to go get a Chinese one for $2,000. I gave him a price. I almost had him talked into it. I was going to do the cap tube and the compressor and a coil, and by the time you do all that, man, they just go buy a new fridge. God, in the old days, you could rebuild stuff because labor was cheap and parts were cheap. Some parts are still cheap. I found out this week, Beverage Air parts are inexpensive still. And I got 2 coils on Beverage Airs I got to change out. I'll try and make videos. They're both the Togo units. One was under warranty and one was not. And Beverage Air was really good about getting the parts out. And I had to purchase the other coil. And they weren't egregiously expensive. So coils, cap tubes, liquid line dryers going to go in. They're R290 units. And I'm going to do those next Saturday and next Sunday. We're all scheduled up. So one a day, one for each day. That way I don't disturb the... try to get in there early so I'm not disturbing the workflow. Because the way they set those up now, they only have 2 makeup stations. 2 70-inch makeup stations. So I'm gonna have one down while I'm rebuilding it. No, it came direct. Bilco came direct from Bev-Air. You just call Bev-Air, give them model and serial number, and then they send the parts out. They were really good about it. Yeah, the shelf behind me looks ready to snap. Where that recovery unit is. I need to sell that recovery unit to one of my coworkers. That's what I need to do. That's my backup recovery machine. The Navac Nerd's been hanging tough. It's been doing real good. The old Nerd has been a good one. Oh yeah. The Navac stuff seems pretty decent. Pretty decent. Seems like Field Pieces stepped up their game too. I think Field Pieces come a long way. And then I'm still running those OG Testo gauges. I still have those, the digital ones. I've been using those Elitech ones that Felipe gave me. And I'm still oh man, I'm still up in the air on that Milwaukee meter. I don't like the way it responds doing ohms. That little Unity meter works great. Of course, the Fluke stuff is awesome. Even the UEI stuff is great. I don't like the way it responds. Like I was checking those compressor ohms last night. I should have filmed it, but the guy was right on my shoulder. And Juan met me at the Dakin class in Oakland, California. Was it in Oakland or were we out in Sacramento? I thought we were in Sacramento for that Dakin class. Maybe it was. Maybe I did one in Oakland too. But I remember going out to the Norman S. Wright in Sacramento for didn't we go out there for it was like a week-long class a few years back for the Dykins. Team Daikin. Yeah, I don't like the way that Milwaukee does the response to the reading the ohms. That's kind of a bummer. The rest of it seems to be okay. Nice little meter. Yeah. Let's see, what else did I get into this week? Let's see, I'm trying to think. I was real busy one of those days. I'm trying to remember everywhere I went. Oh, yeah. You know, the usual Bard heat pumps. It got cold out here this week, so a bunch of Bard heat pump stuff. Roger Gregory's in the house. Hello, Roger. How are you doing, man? Let's see what Steve Vacante had to replace a compressor on an R290 Eventco. Replaced a TXV in an 82 Taylor unit. And they didn't label the refrigerant. I just hate when people don't label. Yeah, labeling is a big deal. It's so easy to label stuff. I got to show you guys. I bought this little micro printer off Amazon. It's about the size of this battery pack, maybe smaller. I don't know if you guys see it. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller than this battery pack. And it prints up little labels off an app. Oh yeah, here's the tape. Is this the tape for it? Yeah, here's the little labels right here. This is the the replacement stuff. Let me get this up to the camera. It prints little labels like this, and the thing costs, I think it was only like $30. And they're little labels about that size. You could label your refrigerant, breakers, and this little, I gotta make a video on that little bugger. It's called the Nimbot. No kidding. Nimbot. And it's probably like $30. And it's USB rechargeable. And you can go right there in the app and type in what you want to print out, and then it prints out your little deal. Steve uses paint markers. I use paint markers too. Paint markers, little labelers, whatever it takes. Got to give Sideshow Bob a fighting chance out there when he comes behind you. Let's see. Shine was in a walk-in freezer removing an iceberg that took out the Titanic. Yes, they do. Hell yeah. Oh, Shine. I don't know who's going to win the game next weekend. I'm going to stay out of that one. I'll stay right out of that thing. We'll just let it play out. I have no ideas. Let's see. Roger has one, but the labels didn't hold up in the sun on a disconnect. Oh, they're not solar. Yeah, I could see that not happening in the sunshine. I could totally see that. Paint pens hold up forever. Those things last through they'll be there through the end of the earth. You'll still the aliens will be able to come in and try and figure out our hieroglyphics. They'll be looking at like R290. What the hell was this? What were these people doing? I'm surprised in California they haven't made refrigeration illegal yet. They'll probably ban it because it's bad for the environment. They'll get the hot rods, the old cars, and refrigeration. Let's see. Shine says if Hertz can get rid of the ball in less than 4 seconds, we win. I think if you run the football, you win. Run the football. Run the football. You guys got a good O-line, so I think you can run all over those dudes. Keep Mahomes. Run the football, keep Mahomes on the sidelines. You know, in 2 Super Bowls, the 49ers got 2 turnovers in each of those freaking Super Bowls. That's 4 total turnovers against Mahomes. We got 0 freaking points. 0. 0 points off of 4 turnovers. 2 in each game. Terrible. Number 2 pencil works great. Yep, for labeling, no doubt. Shannon Knight's in the house. Yo, Shannon. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the Chiefs turned the ball over. You got to capitalize. You get points on your turnovers, you could beat those guys. Niners couldn't get points on turnovers. We even got a turnover on those turkeys with the 10-point lead with 6 minutes left. Couldn't even get a first down. Ugh, brutal. Brutal. But when we had Joe Montana, we never lost a Super Bowl. Joe is 4-0. Hey, what's up, Dave Pascal? I'm having tea tonight. Harley Davidson genuine motor oil. There it is. It's rigged for the Chiefs. I called that Super Bowl last year, even though I'm a Niner fan. It's on my videos. I called it the night before or the day before. I had the Chiefs winning by 3. And they did. They won. And Travis Kelce. I had Travis Kelce proposing to Taylor Swift on the field. It was pretty funny. Maybe this year he'll do it if they win. She'll come out of the stands and it'll be all over television. J. Kennedy 38. Dave, is there a reason you don't have videos on Cornelius ice machines? Yeah, there's not too many Cornelius ice machines in this town. There was back in the day at some of the hotels. It's all Manitowoc or Hoshizaki out here. Oh, and then that one piece of crap Atosa ice maker I have at the liquor store up there. I can't wait for the next video on that one. I'm going to keep videoing that thing every time I get a service call on that sack of junk. The water's so hard up there. It's a bummer. Gino Smith says you got to bring more referees grease than the other guys. Outbidding Taylor Swift ain't easy. That's true. That is true. And I bet you the NFL's absolutely. I'd say this much. It could be rigged enough to where they got her in the stands because she's bringing in young audience, right? So they need to get new audience members because guys like me are getting fed up with it. And we probably age out of watching that shit and following it. And then they got to bring in a new audience. And that Taylor Swift probably brings in a boatload of people. Oh, yeah. It's like baseball. The Chiefs in football and then the Dodgers in baseball. They bought every freaking player. Oh, they'll probably do a repeat. I'll be in the garage here puking all over the place. Yeah. Shannon Knight. Shannon, you got any more videos coming after you got done freezing your buns off? When you're out there, what was it 20 something degrees? You're out there fixing heat pumps? That was a good video. Dave wants to know what's the best way to run evaporator thermistor sensor in true reach-ins? Looks like they're running in the middle of the door mullion channel and foamed into place. Hey, a lot of guys cut them off and replace the ends and just wire them up in there. I've seen guys doing that. I know on the under counter ones, you got to take the whole thing apart and just run new ones. It's a real pain in the butt and it's time consuming. I always like to let the customer know ahead of time. This is going to be a pricey thermostat change out on that new stuff with the 2 sensors. Christina Olivia, hi from San Diego. Hello, Christina. Hello. But sometimes you're better off just, yeah, sometimes you just got to get in there and take the whole unit apart to replace those thermistors. It could take, man, it can take time depending on, and also how much product's in there. I had one in a keg cooler. Had to do a true keg, I can't even talk. True keg cooler. Had to pull out all the kegs, take it all apart to do the 2 thermistors. It took a while. It was probably a couple hours job. Let's see. Stromy, man, oh man, I got a Hoshizaki. I gotta change sensors on. Not looking forward to it. Yep. Just convert it to analog. Just convert it to an analog T-stat. It's not gonna blow up. All right, so I've done that a bunch too, where I just got fed up with all that garbage and put the analogs in. I've done that. I've also got other brands of thermostats that I'll use that Dwyer Love Control, that TS2. It has programmable defrost, and you can mount that in the back, like on the Trues. It's in the back on the outside, and you can mount that back there, and then run the probe inside the unit. And I've done that before too. Yep, it's a business, Mr. Bilko. Oh, I don't even think I got a video for tomorrow. I should have filmed last night, but man, that guy was chicken hawking me. It's hard to film when you're getting lurked, and they're right there. The lurker. Ice Machine Tech. How did you start your own business? Got my contractor's license. Had a good rapport with customers, and just let them know I was repairing stuff, and then built it up. Takes time. Whoa, Shine with the $50 super sticker. Bro, you're very generous, Shine. Thank you very much, man. That's really, really generous of you. Thank you. Um, I have a customer who wants to save this old Charleston 6 door. So I'm putting a new condensing unit, evaporator coil, going 448 on it. Yep, that thing will be totally good. The Charlestons are totally rebuildable. That's a good move right there. The things from 1970. Yep. Those things were built to last. Tommy Tyson says he thought I loved the lurkers. Only when I'm singing the song, man. It was cutting into my YouTube filming. All points 46 1330. Put the bulb in the middle of the coil. Best drop in for any medium temp reach in. I use the RHS 61030 thermostat. And it's just a constant cut in. I think they were made for true. 61030 constant cut in. Works pretty dang good. Stromy's all that. Charleston is a tank. I didn't want to let him put the money into it, but he won't take no for an answer. Yeah, man, customers are tight with the cash right now. No doubt about it. As long as your connections are good and the wires are good, you can just replace the ends. Bilco. Yeah, that's what a lot of guys do on those sensors. If you don't want to route the whole thing, you can just replace the end of the probe and get a good connection. Shine says, Dave, I'm known as the mush here in Philly, so I can put money on the game and have fun with $50 and play some bets. All right. Good deal, man. Good deal. Rebuilt Charleston is going to be better than the Chinese ones. Absolutely. Oh, Ice Machine Tech says, True says to cut them. Cut them and splice them. Well, there you go. There's the answer to the question. I've done it. I've spliced them. I've on some of them you can run you can run the probes off those Solitech thermostats. I hated those things. Now they're using Danfoss. But I think there was some that were a pain in the butt where, yeah, I just cut them and splice them. Sometimes I'll use those Wago, those lever wire nuts. They seem to work pretty good. Yep, even Shine says splicing is so much easier. Absolutely. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt to take those things apart, man. I sometimes quit. I hate the way True mounts those evaporator fan motors on some of those reach-ins, where it's on that square piece on the evaporator cover, and the fans are always hitting and rubbing, and the screws strip out, and oh, that's a terrible design. Terrible, terrible. We'll see how much I get to take apart on this beverage air next weekend. I'm going to do one Saturday morning, and I'm going to do the other one on Sunday morning. Two different stores, same fridge. And I got the cap tubes, the coils, and the liquid line dryers, and we'll see how we make out. The R290. So I got in trouble for adjusting a TXV the other day. My boss wants them replaced. Is that proper practice, or just replace and not adjust? Now, sometimes replacing them's better. They'll get that black gummed up waxy material in there. So if you get it where it's restricting and you got low suction, yeah, you're probably better off just replacing it, unless you got the time to take it all apart and like do a super duper cleanup on them. But if your boss wants you to replace it, that's not a bad idea at all. Have you had to convert any ice machines from 404? I haven't. I tried. So I think there was some videos, a couple years ago, where I tried to do the 448 in the Hoshisaki, but you can't adjust the TXVs, and I was having problems with it. It wasn't quite doing it like I wanted it to. Let's see, Pool of Tone. Those fan covers are definitely the worst. Look at it wrong, and it rubs the blade. Yeah, if you look at it wrong, it'll rub the blade. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So hard to remount. Like your video said, mark it before removing. Oh, on the regular reach-ins. Oh, for sure. You think R290 gauges are necessary, or do you just throw the charge in? No, I got this little scale I use, and I just weigh it in, and it has a tiny little 1/4-inch hose. I'll break it out in the video when I do the coil changeouts next weekend. But I've been watching guys on there's guys on Instagram, dude, they're charging up R290s with full gauge systems. No problems. Let it rip. No scale, no nothing, just going by suction pressure. So, we're back to where we used to be with all the other stuff. It was a big anxiety hullabaloo with the R290, and now it's like, oh, it's so easy. Little cans, you don't have to recover the charge. Just let it rip. Do I use CO2 or compressed air for cleaning out evaporator coils on PMs? I've been using nitrogen, but I have had customers purchase air compressors to do their own maintenance. Manitowoc says no conversion for 404 in the ice machines. Ice machine tech. Yep. I would say Manitowoc's correct on that. I tried just messing around, and it didn't work out very well. Reach in units are just not real service friendly. Shine. Yeah. R290 is easy. It is. And as you get older, those little cans, dude, I love those little cans. Instead of carrying the big old 30-pounder, yeah, the little cans are great. Bilco from RHS 61030. Correct. That's the thermostat I use from RHS. 61030. They keep raising their prices though, dude. So it's like 1 week they were $21, then you go back and then they're $28, then you order another 3 of them and they're $30. They keep raising their prices. Oh, Steve Vicanti has an air compressor on his van. He's never running out. Let's see. Stromy. Dude, I made a big mistake the other day. I had a Silver King with the ends taped red, assumed it was R290, added an ounce or two, and it came to life. Unit was 134A. To dump it in full vacuum. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Pavlovagus is in the house. Dave, You ever had a pen mechanical temperature control maintain box temp properly above -5, but stick closed when below that? I had one do that this week. Callback City. I've had those pen mechanicals do all kinds of weird things. And you can pull the circular part that has the numbers will come off, and there's a nut back there where you can calibrate it with the nut driver, believe it or not. But when you get that far into those things, you're better off I just replace it with the digital nowadays. Then there's no guessing, right? I used to hate guessing on those. Set it a little too low, the coil ice is up. Set it a little too high, the box isn't cold enough. But ever since the digital controls came out, you can dial it in. It seems to be, I'd like them a lot better. That thing cooled like a champ for a few minutes. Oh yeah, you replaced it with the Ranco. Did you put the ETC 111000 in? Those are good. Stromy likes the Key 2 stuff a lot. Their thermostats are real nice. Their stuff is really good. I put in a bunch of those fan controllers and thermostats for customers that actually found those online and then wanted it on their equipment. And I've never had to go back. Their stuff's been pretty good. Key to Therm. It's been pretty good stuff. I think a lot of the chain restaurants are using that stuff. Boss won't buy the 421 for your fan. Well, tell your boss the 421's better because it has built-in defrost. And then I just think they're the A421 ABD O2C with defrost. That's the thermostat right there. You can buy it with they have them with NEMA covers to even make it easier for mounting. So it's got the 4 holes on the exterior. It's I think you pay a little bit more money for them, but it makes life easier for the install. I don't mind taking them apart and just drilling, open it up and then put the screws through it. Seems to work pretty good. Oh man. I'm trying to think, what else did we get into this week? Oh, I recorded that song. I did that today because it was rainy. Dude, I did that song in like 40 minutes. Record breaker. Breaking records. There it is. Give us the lope. Give us the lope. Oh, listen, you can hear the bike. And the robot voice. Give us the lope. Give us the lope. Give us the lope. Give us the lope. Give us the Oh, Puffaluffagus has the key to therm with the alarms. They don't call till it gets to 50. Steve Blanco wants to know how the bike upgrades are coming along. Oh, great question. So I'll have a video for that. It's not a refrigeration video, but I made a video anyways. So my motor's stock, but I have aftermarket exhaust, full exhaust system on it, and I have the 2 Screaming Eagle fuel tuners that you can't get anymore in California. I found out because I wanted to get some new O2 sensors, and they're real expensive. Oh, the cars are doing crash up derby out there. I just heard some horns. So California went all stupid, and you can't even get the Screaming Eagle. In 2020, those were California legal, and they're EPA fuel tuners. They weren't even aftermarket. But anyways, I took apart the primary side. I replaced the compensator. I replaced my clutch plates, and I replaced the primary chain tensioner. And the only thing that was showing wear after 50,000 miles on that stock motor, and I'm pretty religious about my oil change, was the chain tensioner. It was getting some grooves on it. Other than that, everything else looked fine. I did my wheel bearings and my brake rotors, and the wheel bearings were getting tight. So, and those made it to 50. So that's pretty good. So pretty stoked on it. Hopefully it hangs in there. But that's about most of the maintenance that I was digging in there for 50,000 miles. Oh, I did the spark plugs and the spark plug wires, and I had a hell of a time getting that bolt off that compensator, the compensator bolt. So when the guys did the chain conversion, remember I blew the belt out and we did broken belt to Titus? And yeah, we did this one, broken belt to Titus.
I'll tell you a little story about a motorcycle trip.
Oh yeah. I was heading out to Kernville, my belt broke. So we converted the bike to chain drive. Those guys put so much red Loctite on that bolt. Dude, I had the torch in there. I got that thing hot. I had my breaker bar on it. Then I had to get a pipe wrench, my big pipe wrench on the end of the breaker bar with all my might, dude. Twice. Before it finally went, eek. And I went, oh shit, I think I'm getting the win. Heated it up some more. Eek. I'm like, and I looked at it on the second one. I'm like, oh yeah, it's moving. I got this son of a... And I was so far into it, there was no going back. Oh. And I was sitting there going, you know, I rebuild pumps at work. You know, it's more complex than this thing. Come on, this is easy. This stupid red Loctite was boning me. Do I mount the pen thermostat bulb on the back wall or inside the coil? I'll put it in the return air. Behind the coil in the return air. And I usually I'll set walk-ins for like 37 off, 41 on, somewhere's in there. Depends on the customer. And with the defrost, sometimes I'll set them down to 36 and back on at 40 if the customer's real picky. And then I'll defrost I'll go every 6 hours for 30 minutes or every 8 hours for 30 minutes on those pen controls. And so far it's been working out good, but you can adjust it all different kinds of ways. Let's see, Pufflevigus. If it's got the bulb, I mount it on the inside of the evaporator. The only time I put it in the coil, no, on the intake side of the evaporator. Yeah, the return air, that's correct. The only time I put it in there is I'm replacing a coil sensor stat. You should put a crayon on that bolt when it was nice and hot. Oh, see if it melts, if it's hot enough. Oh, I got it hot enough. It took a while. I needed the leverage from the pipe wrench. I was looking for a piece of pipe to extend to get more leverage on my breaker bar, but I didn't have it, so I used like a 2-foot pipe wrench on there on the end of my on the end of the breaker bar, and I got it. It was just, oh man. And when I got the bolt out, it'll be on the video. I had so much red Loctite. Like shit, it comes with already a loop of green on there. It's a one-time bolt. You're supposed to throw that bolt away. They're one-timers. Is defrost necessary on all walk-in refrigerators? No, I'd say no. A lot of them that are sized right and your superheat set won't have ice up issues. And it depends on how often they're in and out of the doors and if the doors are get left open and how they're using the box. It's just the way the old timers taught us was always have an off-cycle defrost on the walk-ins when it was on a pump down. So I still do it. It's just kind of like a safety thing, but I don't think it's always needed for just medium temp. But it is definitely case by case. And there'd be units out there that didn't have defrost, and I'd see like my coworkers throw a clock on there. And you go back, you'll find out that most of the times either the compressor's getting low capacity or the TXV's getting goofy. So something in that system, now it needs, the coil's icing up. And if you dig deep enough, usually you can find it, but you can booby trap it too sometimes with the time clock to get the customer by. Dude, customers right now are trying to save every single penny. It's crazy out there. Crazy, crazy, crazy. But honestly, working on that primary side of the motorcycles, it wasn't bad at all. And I had the books, I had the manual, and then, I'm one of those guys, I got to read it like 3 or 4 times. And then while I'm in there doing it, I got to read it again and double check myself. Then when I'm putting it all back together, I got to double check myself because I'm weird like that. And wasn't bad. Pretty stoked on it. Couldn't afford a Harley nowadays, dude. Their prices are so high for bikes. Good thing I got it when I got it and it was cheap. Because, man, it's unattainium for new gear now. You can probably find used ones at a decent price, but never a new one again. If the customer keeps the box cycling constantly, it needs a dedicated defrost timer. Puffaluffagus. There you go. Yeah, it depends on the condition, but I've seen tons of them out there without defrost work years and years and years. But I always put them on there anytime I'm doing a walk-in medium temp. I'm always going defrost every single time. Defrost it. We used to do the midnight to 2 in the morning defrost. That's the way the old timers always had them when I started. They'd throw the clock on there and they'd go midnight to 2 in the morning, kid. Puffaluffagus, forget a Harley. I barely got a Super Cub 125 money. Dude, how about the little Honda Groms are badass, dude. The little 125 Groms or the Monkeys. I really like the Honda Monkey 125. Those are cool bikes. Those are cool. Oh, I missed Friday. I wonder if Friday's a better night for live streaming than Saturday night. Saturday night live stream. What time is it on the East Coast right now? 8:40. 8:40 at night on the East Coast. Oh, man. Trying to think what I'm getting into next week. Yeah, I just got those evaporator coils lined up for now. Had my eye on a Honda Monkey for a minute. Steve Blanco. Dude, the Monkeys are cool. I got a 78 York 7.5 ton unit that the customer wants me to rebuild the blower and instead of replacing the unit, and it's a beater. Yep. Yeah, it's brutal. I burned myself a couple times trying to rebuild old units too, where God, you get so far into those things and so much money. And you're just like, oh, it would have been so much better if I would have convinced this customer to replace it. Keith Enns, go Birds. We're going to find out next weekend. I'm staying away from that game. I'm not picking any winners or any losers or anything, dude, with the NFL. Those Chiefs have whooped my ass so much. I'm staying away from those dirty, rotten Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, man. Real H.V.A.C. What's going on, man? Here from North Carolina. How you doing, Real? Oh, Felipe's in the house. What's up? HVACR SoCal is in the house. Felipe sent me pictures. He was actually in the snow in Southern California last week. He's driving to his job and there was snow on the ground going over the pass. That was pretty rad. They went from fires to snow. Crazy. How'd your unit come out, Felipe? That Russell unit. Your condensing unit. Oh, Real ST's good, man. Enjoying the weather. Oh, did you guys warm up out there? I saw you guys were super cold in North Carolina. That's good that the weather changed. Keith Peterson, hello from Florida, Pomponio Beach. We love the burgers. We love the lurkers. We love the lurkers. I don't know have I ever played you guys that song the whole way through? It's way down at the list. That song was so old. I recorded that one with acoustic drums. That was an old timer. Oh, there it is. That song I was singing about Sportsters. Listen to that bass line. That's the song. That's the intro song. Got a question for the old timers.
We love the lurkers.
We love the lurkers.
We love the lurkers.
Yep, that was it back in the day. Let's see. Question for the old timers. Why do the customers that pick out crappy equipment only call for service on the weekends and after hours? Yep, that's how it is. Or Friday at 4 o'clock every single time. Oh, yeah, I noticed it getting warm at like 9 this morning. You get the phone call at 4. Let's see, Steve, I don't do replacements. Don't like to, so I don't make any money when I tell the customer to replace the unit. Yep. Oh, Liam's in Australia. Liam, what time is it in Australia right now? You might be a whole day. It might already be Sunday in Australia. Oh, man. Let's see. Friday night special, Keith Peter. Oh, yeah. More humid the area, the more money you need. Oh, man. Yeah, it's probably already Sunday in Australia right now. It's Saturday night in California right now. 11:45 a.m. on Sunday in Australia. Wow. And I'm only at 5:45 in the evening on Saturday. So you've already had Saturday night and Sunday morning. Wow, it's almost lunchtime in Australia on Sunday. That's crazy. That's a trip how that works. I remember when I went to Japan and I flew back. Do you guys remember those videos? I videotaped leaving Japan on the train, on the airplane, landing in San Francisco, getting in the van, and driving right to a service call. And I went backwards in time. It was rad. And I had a freezer. I had a little reach-in freezer I had to go fix for a customer. Oh, yeah, Liam's at Call Out Central in Australia right now. Yeah, you guys are in summertime. What's up with the fire in Martinez? I haven't seen that one, HH. Is it the oil refinery on fire? What's burning in usually Martinez is where all the refineries are. Martinez, California. I haven't seen that one. I can barely keep up with all the plane wrecks. Dude, yeah, the news is crazy. I try not to watch it, honestly. But then you hear about it. You're listening to the radio, and they when they break from a song, and then they do the news. You hear about everything. Serious question though: is it the general rule that refrigeration customers will always spring another unit on you after you show up? It happens a lot. You show up for this, and then you get in there, and since they got you there, they want you to look at everything. Did I get the chain on the Harley, Keith Peterson? Yeah, it got converted to a chain drive a couple years ago. The belt broke. There was only 2 belts available. One was in Southern California, and the other one was back east. They wanted so much money to switch the belt out. It's a big job. You have to pull the outer and inner primary, the clutch, the compensator. It's a monster freaking job to change the belt. And the guys at the local shop were like, dude, we'll convert it to a chain drive, and you could pick the bike up Wednesday, and it was only $800. I was like, do it. Let's go to chain. So I've been running the chain for about 2 years. And then if the chain breaks, you can change the chain. You get a chain from any bike shop and fish it through there with a rope. You just need a chain breaking tool, but you'd be able to get by. So, but I would prefer to have the belt on there, honestly, just less maintenance. But that's where I'm at, Keith. Let's see, Mr. Puffaluffagus. When you go on road trips on the bike, do you carry a spare chain in your bags? No, I do not. I do not carry a spare chain. But I have learned and I learned this when because I used to have a Victory motorcycle before I had the Harley. I do have a spare voltage regulator. And I've been on two trips. One where Frank, one of my road dogs, his voltage regulator went out at Bullhead City. But we had a friend that had trailered in 2 bikes, and he was nice enough to sell us one of his voltage regulators, and we kept Frank on the road. Then we had a guy at Kernville that just lost a voltage regulator on an old Dyna, and he actually had to tow his bike back to Mammoth. So voltage regulator is good to carry with you on road trips. And then other things can happen. You're just out of luck. And then the party's over. When you go on road trips on the bike, do you carry spare chain? Well, no, I answered that one. Are you guys doing much hydrocarbon gases over there now? Um, the little reach-ins are all R290, and I think all most of the residential stuff's R600. So it's switching, but we're still a lot of the commercial stuff like walk-in boxes 448A, 448.9 or 449, pardon me, alpha. So it's a mix, but it hasn't gone super crazy yet. I'm looking at getting a Cove 450. It's a pretty sweet little dirt bike dual sport. Oh, 450 is perfect size. Keith Peterson, new sub. I'm going to try the Flux when I sweat off. Oh, Keith, the Flux trick works, man. Yeah, Todd Housen, Bullhead City was a Laughlin visit. Yeah, we went up to what's that road out there? There's that little cowboy town out there. The Sidewinder. That's what they call that road, the Sidewinder, and you end up in that little town that looks like that cartoon from Cars. And I can't think of the name of that little western town that's out there. Shame on me. It was cool. It was a fun little ride. Um, Pro Thermal. Harley is crazy. I ride Electric Ride 2009. Could not find air filter online. I found the last one of Harley location an hour from me. Air filter $150. Damn. Crazy. Yeah, I was saying earlier, there's no way I could afford a new bike nowadays, dude. That ship has sailed. They're crazy with their pricing. 52 horsepower seems like a lot for my first bike. You'll figure it out, but it's light and 52 horsepower. You'll have a good time. Juanito Vasquez, Raider Nation. Oh, the Raiders got Pete Carroll. I would trade the Raiders my number 11th pick in the first round for Max Crosby straight up. That'd be a good trade. Get Max on a real team. For those that do the flux trick, do you all use brazing flux or solder flux? I use solder flux. I use the Silphos, the stuff that's made for the silver solder. Um, comes in the little white bottle, the white paste. That's the way I've always done it. Works great. I started replacing cap tubes along with compressors when compressor goes. I had a few times I replaced the compressor. Only a few days later, the cap tube was clogged. What's your opinion? Yeah. So I'll be honest. There's times yeah, there it is. The Stay Silv flux. Um, I'll go in there and back blow the cap tube and see how it's reacting. If I don't feel like changing the cap tube, you're supposed to do the cap tube when you do the compressor. A lot of us don't. But I'll hook up a 1/4 inch fitting on the suction line and I'll back blow the cap tube. And if it ain't feeling like it's got good flow, I'll go ahead and replace it. Because yeah, that'll bite you in the ass every time. Yep, Shine says test the cap tube with nitrogen. That's what I do. I back blow it. And it's in some of my videos, some of the older videos. You'll see me doing that. I probably got YouTube policed for that 100 times, but that's how it is. The orange ones have flux on the outside, and they are 95% silver. Oh yeah, that orange solder that's already has the flux built into it. That stuff works really good. If it's an R134 system and it got hot, just change the cap tube and save yourself the headache. The wax will get you. That's true. Or if you go out there like the one I had last night was from 2008. So it was going to be compressor cap tube and evaporator coil. Because the evaporator coils, it's got to be a leaker or close to it. So it depends on the age of the unit. But save yourself some headache there. But yeah, the cap tube will burn you. And you'll be Captain Recall. I've been down that road so many times. I get a week a year where I can't fix anything, I swear. I'll have a week a year where it's nothing but recall, recall, recall. And it's happened my whole career. It's a trip. Worked on a bigger carrier that had something similar to the evap coils, like a series of capillary tubes feeding it. I was worried it was clogged up. Yeah, I used to have the old carriers would have cap tubes, and then they had those orifices that were right at the edge of the evaporator. And there was a fix on that where you could heat them up. You could blow nitrogen in there and heat them up and get those things to clear out if you got lucky and it worked. Whoa, I just hit the microphone. John Fitzpatrick. G'day, Dave. I've been bringing on your episodes and loading it all in my brain. Oh, John, are you in Australia too? I think we got some other guys here in Australia tuned in. Have you ever gone to like a shorter, fatter cap tube on replacement? Yeah, I have. If so, how did the system perform and like it? Yeah, I've gone with a bigger diameter cap tube and shorter on units before. And it seems to work. What's cool is if you have the RHS catalog in your van, refrigeration hardware supply, it'll give you all the true cap tube sizes and lengths, what they're using for the OEMs. So you can call them, give them your model number, they'll give you the part number, and in the book, the part number will tell you 0.043 79 inches, or it's all in there for every model. They don't use very many different cap tube sizes. It's interesting when you get into it like that. Have you had any calls with 454B? Not yet. But I think at the day job, we're going to have to start using it up there. The state's really cracking on, and I think we're going to have to start using that stuff. I called a guy, told me to do that, but we were replacing a compressor. Yeah, that's the old school trick. Bigger diameter cap tube, a little bit shorter. How do you size cap tubes for R290? I couldn't find a nomadic chart. I call the OEM or the parts house. And for the R290 stuff, I've just been like, I got the beverage air. They sent me the coil and the cap tubes and then gave me the part number for the cap tube. And the one that was out of warranty, I gave RHS that part number from beverage air, and then they got the cap tube matched up for the R290. Gabe, sick. I'm going to call RHS and get their catalog. Yep. Steve, RHS question mark. Refrigeration hardware supply. I think you can go online too. I think that store is online as well. But if you open up an account with them and you start buying, they'll give you better pricing. But yeah, it's good. It's a good little outfit. They have a location in Colorado and then one in Southern California. So how do I get a physical copy of the RHS catalog? Yeah, call them up. Call them up and request a catalog. And they'll ship you out the catalog. And they also have a bunch of stuff online too. You can do it on your phone and the whole deal. What are you dropping in on 404 TXV? I've been using a lot of 448A. Pretty much. Yep. Change the TXV for 404. When 448A first came out, they were giving us R22 valves. They were giving us 404A valves. You could adjust your superheat. I had videos on that. Now you can get 448A TXVs. But I noticed the R22 ones seem to work a little bit better than the 404s, but the 404s will still work. You just have to adjust your superheat. But nowadays, I would just go ahead and get a 448A valve since they make them. Super Tech always home by 4. He gets his jobs done by 4. I didn't get done last night till 6:30. And we got this big storm and we got the atmospheric river going, so it's all raining and doing its goofy. But it didn't, you know what though? It didn't rain all of January here. We had no rain in January, which was crazy. but now it's making all up for it in one deal. It was it was nuts. 448A has more capacity than 404. Yep, 404 doesn't send subcooling out and then back into the condenser coil. You know what's funny is I switched this big walk-in box over. Remember that video where I did the night job and I changed that guy's compressor at nighttime? And then the big evaporator coil is all dirty. And that was a conversion from 404 over to 448. And he actually told me his electric bill went down. It was working way better. He was stoked. You should do a recall week. That would be fun watching. Yeah, well, if it happens, I'll try and film for sure. That would be fun to see where I get torched. Everywhere I get torched. The emergency change out at the very end of the day video. Correct. That compressor died again because the stupid little peanut uh, low pressure control chunked. So I put the big pen dual pressure control in. I just did that. Well, last month. We just changed that out last month. I think I made a video on it. I'm pretty sure I did. All we do is go in circles. You guys know that. The one where it said if you want to go home to your family on time, do residential. Yeah, I did say that. Dude, I come up with some funny shit sometimes. Uh Christina Christian Olivia wants to know what van are you buying if the Astro takes a dump? Oh, so we got a couple of the new Fords at work. I'd probably do the Ford. I think the powertrain on the Ford's better than the Dodge, but there's no way I could afford a new van if the Astro dies. Christian, um I've been thinking that's funny you should say that. I thought about that the other day and I was getting anxiety. I was like, "Oh, crap." I'd probably go find another used van somewhere, I guess. How many miles are on the Vangina? I got 107,000 miles on that van. I bought it when it had 61,000. So I don't really drive a whole lot. I keep it local in town here, and I go maybe one or two towns each way. And so I'm at 107,000. But I did get a fuel pump for that thing during the pandemic, and I got the OEM fuel pump. So I got that changed out at 100,000 miles. That was smart. I did it right before all the lockdown garbage. So my guy was able to get me the fuel pump, and I got a real OEM fuel pump for that. Dave, can you share your opinion on chemical flushing and nitrogen when the compressor chunks and you change the gas? I'll do nitrogen. I've never used the chemical flushes, but I'm not against it. It's up to each person what they want to do and how they feel about it, but I'll get a burnout and I'll do nitrogen, do a good vacuum, change dryers, but I've never used the chemical flushes. Is the Van China getting beat up? Yeah, it's beat. How old is that thing now? It's a 2003, so that makes it what, 22 years old. And the door gasket's a leak, so I'll get water in the back of it when it rains. So there'll be water in it right now in the back. Last year, the windshield started leaking, but I sealed that up. I still need to get that gasket replaced. But, dude, as far as it drives great. If you live anywhere where it snows, Transit is the one-wheel peel king. Oh, the Fords. You know, my coworker, it's funny you should say that, Puffalophagus. So the coworker, we had to tow the new Ford. We had to tow him out of the mud because the way that traction breaks loose, so I guess you don't burn up the transmission. We had to get a rope on him and tow him with the old school vans with the V8s. Yep. Oh man, I forgot all about that. HVAC life with Zay. Oh yeah. HVAC life with Zay is dead slow for him. I've been slow, dude. I think I mentioned that. When was the last time I did a live stream? 2 weeks ago. It's been a slower than usual winter for me. My customers are choking out there. There's a lot of businesses that want to get out of the restaurant gig too. Gabe's in the house. Long time no see, Gabe. How you doing, buddy? But yeah, I've been slower than usual. But Hopefully things will turn around. We'll see. It just shuts the gas pedal off when the traction control activates unless you put it in slippery road mode. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Hey, oh, here we go. Mechanical environments. Hey, Dave, great H10 video recently. That was a great reminder. Went and serviced mine after that. Oh, man, I'm glad you enjoyed that. I had been meaning to do that video for a long time. People had asked me, and I had just always been too busy. And I finally remembered. Pro Thermal's selling his 2019 Sprinter van, high roof, just for 23 with shelf. Good replacement for the Vangina. I'll pass on that Pro Thermal. The Vangina is still going strong. Gabe's doing good. That's good to hear. Let's see. HVAC Life with Zay. My dad's service truck is a 2005 5.4 Triton. That thing's 23 years old. Doesn't miss a beat. I freaking love riding around in it. Oh, that's great, dude. That is great. Oh, Matt 920's Transit's got 4-wheel drive. Oh, sick. Oh, look at that. Christian Olivia has 286,000 miles on his 4.3 Chevy engine. Oh, that's great to hear. Dude, how about all the car manufacturers just having a bad run of motors? Toyota, Ford, Chevy with that active fuel shut off thing eating up the valves. They're all I think Ford's got mega problems with one of their motors. And then of course the new Tundra motors chunking left and right. That's just terrible to see. Seriously, I mean, I had some Toyotas back in the day, you know, when I was a little surf rat, the little 22R engines, those were great. And then the Chevys have always been good to me. And we had one Ford. I had a Ford Explorer. You know, remember the Ford Explorers back in the day? We had one of those as a family car. We bought it used and it was great. And I just had good luck with those. But man, all the new ones are having mega problems. One of the funniest videos, here we go, Todd House. And one of the funniest videos you done was messing with the homeless guy. That was funny. That dude was torqued. Nitrogen sweep, my friend, Keith Peterson. Yep. You could do the triple evacuation if you got a burnout. It just depends how nasty the system is. Here we go. Felipe's got a 2012 Nissan NV 2500 HD, 192,000 miles, still going strong. Yep. That's a good looking truck. Actually, that's more of a van. It's like a van with a truck front. That's a good looking rig, Felipe. Let's see. WSW, scary business buying a new vehicle nowadays. 50-50 chance it'll be in the dealer all the time. Yeah. And it's terrible how expensive they cost. And they're all chunking. Just horrible. Hey, Dave, have you seen the 12-volt extension ladder cranes for lifting? I have seen the ladder cranes. I built my own ladder crane, John. And in the videos, it's sketchier. It's sketchier than hell, dude. I need to do a revamp on it. Oh, man. 256K when I bought it in July of 2022. Wow, that's awesome. Nissan hardbody 90s are the shit. Oh, that's great. Oh, man. But the ladder crane's killer. I think that's a great investment. Great investment. Well, hey, man, we've been doing this for an hour. Let's call it a night. You guys have a great weekend. And I'll try and do a live stream Friday. You know, I'm going to try for Friday nights if I'm not working. If I'm not doing it, I'm probably working. So, yeah, we'll try and super tech out next Friday night at 5 Pacific. 2014 Ford Explorer 3.5 Flex. My first Sprinter van, 700,000 kilometers. Bet it's still running. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, Shine, go Birds. Have a great one, Dave. Be safe, Steve. Be safe out there. We'll try and check in on Friday and see how everybody made out. this next coming up week. And then it's the Super Bowl Sunday. Gotta watch the Super Bowl. Come on. Look at engineer. Sala is back in SF. Yes, he is. We just need one more pass rusher. And I would re-sign Greenlaw if they could. The linebacker. All right, you guys. Be safe out there. I'm the one that gets the job done. I'm a super tech.
Don't forget it.
Super tech.
Super tech.
Super tech.
He's a super tech.